This is the wake-up call. This is your truth. You were dead in your trespasses and sins in which you once walked according to the way the world walks, according to the rule of the authority of the air, of the spirit that is now working in the sons of disobedience. The spirit, in other words, the intrinsic nature that flows through the world. We saw that in the flood days. We saw that in Sodom and Gomorrah. We see that in Israel or in Judah when they had to go get taken by Babylon. So the northern kingdom when Assyria had to come and take them, right? We see all of this intrinsic nature of disobedience. He says this is what's working in the sons of disobedience. So it's a nature. It's not a spirit like they were possessed by something from an outside source. You have to choose, right? You have to choose. Like when Joshua says, as for me and my house, we're going to choose Yahweh. You do what you want, we're going to choose that. Because all of us have that freedom of choice. But you can also choose the spirit of disobedience, so to speak. You can choose to go and say, I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to mold him into my image and make everything be what I want it to be. He says, among whom also we all once lived in the lusts of our flesh, doing the desires of the flesh and of the mind, and we were by nature children of wrath, as also the rest. I like even that he put the word wrath in there. It seems a little odd to put the word wrath in there, but you know what? We do a lot of this stuff because we get angry. We get angry at him. We get angry that we can't do something. We just get mad about stuff. He said, no, you want to do it, so you get angry. He said, do it, you don't want to do it, so you get angry. That's what disobedience. Anybody see that with children? You tell them no, they get angry. You tell them to do something they don't want to do, they get angry. Right? Which is a spirit of disobedience. Okay? Now, why do they get angry? Because they don't know to trust you. Because they can't see why doing what you're telling them to do is actually beneficial to them. It's boring, it's work, it's this, it's that, or whatever. They can't see it. But he already said we walk by belief, not sight. Now, he said that to the Corinthians, but you see how the theme goes right across. Okay? So we don't always see. Well, I don't understand what the big deal is eating shrimp or not. I mean, I understand that back in the day, pigs had, trichinosis and stuff, but they fixed that problem. Right? People can come up with all kinds of things to justify, but I want to do this, and I want to do that, or I want to eat this, or I want to, whatever. Are we doing that? Are we spinning things? Because that's where the disobedience comes in. Because you got to remember, he said, you were there. It's easy to go back there. It's easy to still have that mindset that had you back there. So Paul's saying, before we get into where you're going, let's not ever forget, and this is a Yahweh thing, always reminding people where they came from. How many times in the Old Testament, when you go through the Chumash, the first 5 books, then you get into things like through the writings, it's mentioned the history of how they got there. Then you go into the things like the Psalms. You have whole Psalms talking about, remember when you guys were in Egypt, or remember back to the flood, or remember back, all kinds of reminders where you came from. And Yahweh literally says in lots of places, don't forget you were once slaves in Egypt, for example. Like, don't forget where you came from. He's saying, look, you were dead. So let's get off our high horse and drop the attitude. This is the truth, isn't it? We have attitude and we get all uppity and we get all whatever. He said, let's deal with facts or facts. You were dead. Okay? End of story. You were dead. Now you were walking around in a flesh suit and hadn't died yet, but there was no future. That was it. You were dead in your trespasses. Then he says, but Elohim, now in verse 4, who is rich in compassion because of his great love with which he loved us. So again, this is because it's his desire. He's doing this because he loves us. Okay, that's why he is doing this, is because he loved us. In loving us, even when we were dead. You want to remind us again, even when you were dead in your trespasses, made us alive together with Messiah, okay? And then what does he say? By favor, you've been saved. Now, again, I've taught this so many different ways to understand it. Let's take this in the right order. You're dead in trespasses doing what you shouldn't do. Now you're made alive with Messiah. What is Messiah? The Torah, the truth, the way, the life, right? The light. We all know what Messiah is. So you get Messiah, You start behaving differently, not the way you were dead in trespasses. So you're not doing trespasses. Now you've merited favor to be saved. It delivered you. This is favor that delivers you. So it's not like, oh, and he says, by grace you are saved. No, you're embracing coming out of trespass and going into becoming Messiah-like. That saves you. That merits favor. So now you have favor. You had no favor. He said you were dead. You deserved death. Your trespasses, you merited nothing but death. Now you merit favor because he says you were made alive by Messiah coming into your life.